best side hustles you've seen
Yeah.
for this year for
Yeah.
people starting out?
You know how people resell sneakers, they resell
Yeah.
consoles, they
Mhm.
resell games.
Yeah.
Well, Legos is exactly the same. A friend of mine bought up £5,000 worth of Mandalorian Legos.
Yeah. Okay.
They got discontinued.
Yeah.
4 months later, he sold the whole batch for 20 grand.
How much? 20 grand.
From 5 to 20 in 4 months.
Yo, my people, welcome back to the Venture Room, the #1 platform for aspiring entrepreneurs. For today's guest, you might recognize from a previous episode. He recently built up a crazy social media following of nearly 700k followers. And I want to find out exactly how much money he's making and how you can do the same. But I'll let him introduce himself.
It's been a minute, hasn't it? We've done a podcast, what was it, January? Things have changed.
Yeah, quite a few
Things
months.
have changed, man. Fucking hell,
Changed
man.
for you, big time.
Well, for you as well, man. Look at you. You're blowing up as well, man. It's nice. It's nice setup and everything, so it's good. But
Yeah. You look richer.
I wonder how does that even look like. But anyways, yeah, man, things have been good. I kind of started off with Amazon FBA, and that's kind of what we spoke about in the previous podcast, which I think a lot of people should listen. Ever since then, I kind of started moving a little bit away, not just from Amazon FBA, but I also want to do a bit of social media, teach other people how to make money through not just Amazon FBA, but just in general. And I think people have related that, hey, I'm speaking from experience as opposed to just regurgitating facts that other people have said.
I wanted to ask you that. Why? What was the name change then? Because you want to be more...
Yeah. So before I was...
Because I like the FBA Mentor.
Yeah,
that was like...
FBA Mentor, whereas now it's Ben Alistor. And the main reason is because I just wanted to... It pigeonholed me into Amazon FBA. FBA Mentor, you straight away think, okay, he's talking about Amazon FBA. So if I want to do a vlog or if I want to do some sort of side hustle check or, talk about anything else outside of Amazon, it didn't really make much sense. Whereas if by changing to Ben Alistor, I'm now becoming my own person. I am who I am. I will talk whatever I want to talk about as opposed to just sticking to what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years.
That's a good point, actually, because I always thought stick to a niche and then you can obviously build your audience in a niche. It's a lot easier. But you're kind of building a personal brand now, which is really important.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and I think for most people, actually, you start off in a smaller niche. You go into a smaller pond, you grow in that pond effectively, and then you can potentially move into a much wider niche. So I went from Amazon FBA to side hustles to eventually now going to doing just general finance in total. And the thing is, I think for most people who are starting in social media, you need to start off in as niche down as possible. And you may be thinking, oh, you don't have that much of an audience, etc. Don't worry about that. Get known in the niche that you're in and then grow from there. Because if you're going to go into big finance, whatever, straight away, you're in a very big pond amongst sharks, and good luck with that, because their content, they spend a lot of money on content, on editing, on producing, on script writing, on everything, right? And you want to build up those finances and that knowledge to get to that point.
100%. And a lot of people don't think that there's a lot of money in being a creator and having an audience. So I want to talk about that a bit later on. Before we get into the business side of it, I want to take you right back to when you first started your channel. What was that feeling like, man?
Oh God, I was terrified. It was fucking terrible, man. I didn't know what I was doing, and I'll be honest, I still feel sometimes I don't know what I'm doing. But but it was literally during pandemic. I was sitting at home. I was getting bored of literally just being suppliers all day, every day, and I thought, you know what? I think people may find some use in what I've experienced, what I've learned. I might as well try it out. And for any of you guys watching my videos and stuff, just go back to the very first 100 and you will see how terrible they were. Like literally you just open up a laptop, turn on a webcam and just speak. It was shitty background, bad lighting, bad camera quality, no microphone, and I thought, hey, I'm doing a good job, right? But it's cringy, but it's nice to look at how the videos were back then to what they are now. And what I'm happy about is the fact that I was just like, you know what? I don't care what people think. I don't care what people say. I didn't tell anyone most of the time. And it was just literally just try to improve every single time. So I think for any creator that you want to potentially emulate and look into their very first videos, look at their videos 5 months later, a year later, 2 years later than what they are now. And you will see that the big ones always improve. Whether it's body language, whether it's editing, whether it's what they say, how natural they come across, and so on and so forth. And these sort of things you continue to learn over time. Like nobody's perfect, and also social media changes over time as well. What works today may not work tomorrow.
100%. And I feel like today, for entrepreneurs, it's so important that they build their own audience. Like everyone's journey starts on a social platform.
Yeah.
And everyone should be a content creator, even if you're just a business person.
Well, tell me a business that wouldn't benefit from social media.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll wait. Like anything. You're a plumber. You can do well better with social media. You're an accountant. You can benefit from social media. It doesn't matter. Every single person should be. It's a free advertising tool. Before social media, we had to pay the radio, we had to pay the TV ads, we had to pay the magazines or whatever to put what we're doing. Now, just get in front of the fucking camera and start speaking about what you're doing, make compelling content, and you'll be amazed at the results.
Were you always, because you come across really confident now, were you always a confident person?
No, I'm not a confident person.
Before?
I'm not even confident now, to be honest. It's just getting out of your comfort zone. Matter of fact, I think it kind of like, I'm a big proponent is like, it doesn't matter how you feel. If you're comfortable in front of camera, if you're not comfortable in front of camera, it doesn't matter. You have to look at the bigger picture, the bigger goal, and just get on with it. It's as simple as that. I haven't met a single person that is in content creation right now that was confident on camera from day one.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. You don't come out the womb and want to start speaking in front of the camera. It just doesn't work, right? You build up that skill. Every single person that started their first video is shit. And it's supposed to be, right? Because you're just starting out. Yeah. But it's just going past that that period of suffering and struggle and embarrassment and looking back at your videos. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's cringy as hell. It's cringy. What the hell am I doing? You know, but it's just going through that. And then all of a sudden, slowly but surely, things will start picking up. And what I also found, people say, you know what, going from 0 to 1,000 takes as much time as going from 1,000 to 10,000 because of the cumulative effect and stuff.
Yeah.
And I can kind of see that point. But at the same time, I think what matters more is how good you are at 1,000 because you've built up all of those skills as well.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Because I'm at the beginning of my stage right now. And I think maybe I probably invested too much at the beginning, like the equipment and stuff. I put quite a lot of money into it. But I guess you don't have to like get the best cameras. As long as your content is good.
Your content is good. You don't have to have the best cameras. I think the setup doesn't have to be that expensive, but I'll be dead honest right now. Watch this podcast yourself and watch the podcast that you did the very first time. Yeah. And you'll see the difference. Already. And it's been what? Only a few months, right? Watch how much it changes next year. You'll be like, what was I thinking? What was I asking? Etc. All these things.
Do you know what's crazy? Because you actually end up understanding yourself a lot more. Like the things you might say, or you might pause a lot. You start seeing yourself and you start improving your communication skills.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people as well, what they underutilize, especially with content creation, especially in the education side of things, is they have the talking head type of thing. And the reality is majority of us actually speak with our bodies, with our body language.
True.
So if you're just speaking like this all the time and nothing, you don't come across relatable.
Yeah.
So I've been looking at my videos and I'm just like, literally, I'm speaking so scripted and so robotic and like this, like there's no passion with what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
That needs to change.
Yeah.
And you only get to that by repetition.
Yeah. So I want to get some practical tips from you. This is why I brought you in. It's a bit for me as well.
Of course, man.
So how would you get your first, we can do YouTube and TikTok, your first 1,000, the first 10,000 followers? Like what's that initial, what's the tactics?
Okay, so with the first, which one you want to cover? YouTube or TikTok?
Let's start with YouTube.
Okay, so YouTube it's much harder to begin with. YouTube is long form content. You build a connection. You build a audience effectively that is a much more bought into you as opposed to TikTok. So that's the very first thing you have to understand. It's a much more longer game. It's very unlikely for you to blow up on YouTube as quickly as you can do on TikTok. TikTok is known for going viral. YouTube is not. It's not, right? No. You have to build. You have to grind. So that's the first thing, right? So no matter what you do, if you're on 0 subscribers, your very first video, it can be the best video ever. It won't do that well because nobody knows who you are. So keep that in mind. So that's the first thing. Second thing I say with YouTube is you have to continuously try to improve on your content every single time. Analyze what other people are doing, their thumbnails, their titles, how they're pacing, their tone of voice, their body language, what subjects are they covering, which ones are not they're covering. Like, for example, for you right now, I'd be looking at every single podcaster in this particular field and you write down what they're doing well, what are they not doing well. It's as simple as that. For me, what made a big difference. So it took me 2.5 years to go from 0 to 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. 2.5 fucking years. Wow. It took me 4 months to get to 17,000. So I went from getting 300 subscribers a month to now getting about 2,300 subscribers.
So how often were you posting videos?
I was posting more than I'm posting now. But the content that I'm posting now is far more better edited. I spend much more time researching the subject and so on and so forth. And what I found interesting also is that whenever you're studying YouTube, write shit down. So for example, with content, right, we want to get, for me personally, you want to get straight to the point. Nobody wants to hear, hey, my name is Ben, and this is where we talk about everything to do with Amazon FBA. In today's video, we're going to talk. No, just get to it, bro. That's it. People don't have time. So that's the first thing. Also, think about stories. People get drawn into stories. People get drawn into your own personal life and your own experiences. Draw onto them as much as possible. Speak about your successes as much as you speak about your failures, because everybody has failed at some point, right? You don't just want to hear, hey, I'm making millions, I'm making this and this and this. Nobody's going to relate to that, right? So that's that also. Editing is really, really important. So if you don't have an editor, at least get some good, decent editing software and try to make as captivating of the videos as possible. And I think that especially works for your street interviews videos. Podcasting is a little bit different. It depends a little bit, I think, a little bit more about the guest, their social media presence and so on and so forth. But when it comes to your street interviews, I think it's all about being punchy, being straight to the point, making a few jokes, relating to the people as much as possible, asking interesting, compelling questions. Like, okay, you're coming out of Harrods, how much money are you making? You know, and some people may be like, you know what, fuck you, what are you talking about? I ain't telling you shit. And you know what, that's a great piece of content, dude. Just put it on, put it out there. Because you know what, some people are very open with how much they're making. Like I am, I've got nothing to hide. Other people are not.
That question gets people very nervous.
100%. Show the nerves, man. Show the nerves, because it gets people. Because when I watch your video, I was just like, oh, what are people? If somebody asked me that, like a bloody weirdo, just ask me like, hey man, bro, how much money are you making? I'll be like, fuck is your problem? Do you know what I mean? But like, I would put those things in because those will make people laugh. They will make people giggle, cringe. They will bring an emotion, and then they will comment on it. And then you respond to the comment, and you start this thread, and then that's 100%. How it works.
You know, talking about give the hook at the beginning.
Yes.
So I think traditionally, like in school, when we write essays, there's always a build up. So you have the beginning, and you're building up to like the peak towards the end of the story. That doesn't work in social media. Give us the good stuff at the beginning, and at the end. That's what I've realized.
Absolutely. And the thing is that with the hook, especially, I think this is where the two things. Number one, knowing the audience and who watches your videos is really important. Number two is actually they clicked on your video. What are they trying to find out? Right. So, for example, if they clicked on your video and it's a street interview of how much money is people making coming out of Harrods, for example, I'm just using that as an example. You want to get to the juicy bits as quickly as possible. You don't want to say, hey, what's your name? How long you been working? What are you doing for a living? How much money, you know, it's just like, right, how much? So I came out here, you got a whole bunch of bags. How much money have you made this month?
Straight up.
And and I know it's going to be tough, man, because people will be like, what the hell, bro? But you know what? Put it out there and you will be amazed at the results. You'll be amazed at the results.
But that's a lesson in life, isn't it? Just ask the questions.
Absolutely. Like,
go straight in.
You're going to lose if you don't try and you don't ask. You know, what's the worst that can happen? They'll say no. Okay, fine. On to the next one. Not a problem, right? So I just think a lot of videos that I've seen from creators that don't do so well, there's just so much fluff. Much fluff. I don't care about it. I don't think the creator cares about it, but he just feels like I need to flesh it out. The video has to be 20 minutes long, not 5. You know, what I've watched a lot of top editors say, we usually have 1 hour's footage, we'll cut it down to 5 minutes. The more we cut out, the better.
You know how hard that is to do? It's so hard to do.
Punchy. You need to be punchy as much as possible, you know? You need to be as punchy as possible. So,
cool.
I don't know. Yeah.
So, TikTok now, that's the monster platform. So, what are we on at the moment?
670.
And what were you on in January when we filmed?
Oh, dude, that was a good question. 130? Something like that.
So from 130 to 670.
It took. I did a good Instagram story for it. It took me 14 months to get to 100. From 0 to 100. 14 months. To get from 500 to 600 took me a week.
Crazy. A week?
Took me a week. Yeah, I went from 500 to 600 in a week. Yeah. It's
1,000
mental.
followers. That's mad.
It's mental, yeah. So, and this is not to brag or whatever. It's just to show to everyone that, hey, if you're an aspiring content creator, you never know when things will pick up, right? Just continue to grind, continue to work through it. There's been times where I gained like 600 followers on TikTok in a month, which is low, very low. But you never know. Once you hit the audience, which you understand exactly who you're speaking to, things change, man, quickly.
Man. So give us some of those, if you can, some of the things you did differently, some of the tactics that you used. I know your content style changed a bit
Massive.
this year.
Massively changed. Yeah. So for every single creator is going to be different, but for me personally, what worked is understanding number one. Well, let me ask you a question. Were you not bored, annoyed, tired at school and university?
Yes.
Yeah, because it's boring, right?
Long.
And it's education, it's long. And you don't want that to be felt when people are watching your videos. And my style is education.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I shouldn't be entertaining. I should be educating. No, man, you
Yeah.
should be entertaining and educating at the same time. So that's the first thing. Most of my videos for the first year was just like giving facts about Amazon, which fine, you will learn something, but you're not exactly going to keep people coming back to you, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, I don't know if you watched on TikTok, you may be watching somebody speaking and then you watch like a game underneath it.
Yeah,
right?
what is that? It's so
Right,
random.
it's to keep you entertained, it's to keep you engaged. So if you're not interested in what they're saying, you may be interested in the game, what's happening.
I don't know
right?
if I like that.
I don't know if I like it either. However, it works, right? And and people wouldn't do it if it didn't work. So for me, I thought, okay, how can I implement that into my own thing? And this is where the reaction things came in, because people may be interested in what I'm saying. If they're not interested in what I'm saying, at least they're interested in the video that I'm showing, that I'm reacting to. So they getting hit from multiple touch points, so to speak. But then the big one, the most important one, the secret sauce effectively for me personally is understanding the fucking audience. It's understanding the audience. And what I mean by that is simple. Finance is a very big subject. Finance to a 15-year-old is very different to finance to a 50-year-old, right?
True.
So if I want to hit the 50-year-old, 40-year-old, I will be speaking about credit cards. I'll be speaking about mortgages. I'll be speaking about budgeting. I'll be speaking about economics and all these sort of things, right? If I'm speaking to a 15-year-old, I'll be speaking about side hustles. I'll be speaking about how to escape the matrix, how to not be a brokey, all of these sort of things, right? So it's understanding who your audience is, what exactly are they looking to get out of you, and then hitting it hard. So for example, for me personally, it's a 15, 16, 17-year-old who wants to make a little bit of money on the side, who understands that school and university is a scam, who understands that they need to learn a high-value skill, and they are confused about what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Guess what? My hook on one of my videos is going to be, school is a scam, and here's why. And people will be like, okay. Here are the skills you need to learn if you want to make money young. And, but if I all of a sudden say, hey, here are the best 3 credit cards for you to choose in 2023. A 15-year-old will be like, bro, I can't even get a credit card. I'm not even 18 yet. Do you know what I mean? So, and this is where, people calculate, algorithm this, algorithm that. It's really, really simple, because I've watched quite a few of the interviews from the TikTok CEO. And he said, it's simple math. If somebody engaged with your first video, second video, third video, then they're going to be shown the fourth video, right? However, if somebody engaged with your first video, they didn't like the second one, they didn't like the third one, they didn't like the fourth one, maybe you'll get shown the fifth one, right? So when you understand the audience and you continue to make good, compelling content for them, they will continue to be shown your next video. And this is where literally just trajectory just changed completely, because I realized, okay, I'm speaking to the younger generation. What are they interested in? What are they speaking about? What are they curious? What are they confused about? And when I started speaking about that, everything changed. Everything changed.
It's crazy. Yeah. And because people think you need to I used to do it, hashtag stuff in Instagram. I'd have 40 hashtags.
Yeah.
But it's more about having the right content.
Absolutely.
Than how many hashtags you can
think about it. Like, hashtags used to work back in 2016. Right now, they can transcribe what you're saying there and then. They understand exactly what your video is about. You don't have to put any hashtags. They will understand that you're speaking about finance. They will understand that you're speaking about side hustles, because that is what you're saying. We ain't in 2015 anymore when you have to describe and put a description, hashtags and all these things. I've actually even tested. I didn't put any hashtags at all, and the videos did just as well.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Not one hashtag.
That's mad.
It's fine. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, so obviously I'm quite new to the content game. How do you...
Welcome.
Yeah, mate, it's crazy. Listen, it's super fun, but there's so much work that goes into it.
It's a grind.
You just swipe past the reel or whatever. That's really taken hours of work.
Yeah, man. Together. Absolutely. And most people don't understand how much work, effort, time, sweat and tears go into, for example, today here, just doing this podcast, you have to set things up. You have to come in.
3 hours.
3 hours. Then you come back out of it. You have to clip it up. You have to make a thumbnail, the title, make shorts for it, and so on. There's so much work to it. There's a lot of reward to it for sure, but you really have to put in the grind, have discipline to make it work.
Yeah. So how do you put out so much content? That's my question.
Efficiency is basically figuring out how can I be as efficient as possible. The reality is, I think, you as a viewer, as a viewer, not as a content creator, as a viewer. Do you give a shit how much work did somebody else put in order to make that piece of content? You don't.
Not at all, no.
You care about whether it's good or not. It's as simple as that. So what I've focused on is making good quality content as efficiently as possible. It's as simple as that. So now what I do is YouTube video and TikTok. I do 14 short form pieces of content a week and one YouTube video a week. And what I do is Monday is scripting, right? So Monday I would script everything. Tuesday, film everything. So in 2 days, I'm done. I am done.
So
like
script all your videos.
I will script everything for TikTok and for YouTube. I will give it to the editor, and then he will edit it throughout the week. I am done. And 14 videos across 3 different platforms. That is 14, 28, 42 pieces of content, plus the YouTube video, 43 pieces of content.
Yeah.
Clip this up as well. Another 10, 15, 20 pieces of content. Sorted.
Yeah. I think batching content is so key, man.
I think you will risk burning out a lot if you script a video, shoot the video, edit the video, post, start again. It's just like efficiency. It's as simple as that.
It's mad. And then how often do you need to post on TikTok to grow, would you say?
I'll be honest, and this is pat on the back for me. I have not missed an upload for 16 months, at least twice a day.
Flipping out.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if I'm ill, doesn't matter if I'm on holiday, doesn't matter. My birthday, mum's birthday, doesn't matter. It's getting posted. Simple.
That is crazy.
And what's interesting is that when I look at other content creators, they may be consistent for a while, and then there's a week gap. There's a 10-day gap. There's a month gap. And I'm like, okay, well, there you go.
Because to post twice a day, you need to have the batch ready.
Absolutely.
Because your editor might be ill one day. So
Yeah.
it needs to be like a backlog content.
Yeah. So I have 2 weeks in advance. So my editor can be ill. Yeah. Well, don't say that. No, I can't say no. Don't be ill, please. But yeah, no. It's being efficient with your time, your effort, putting everything together. And you know what? It's such a relief when it's just like, all right, I am done. All the files have been sent. I'm good until next week. A lot of people talk about this burnout and everything, and people take these gaps. And I understand that. I would feel exactly the same way. But if you work on efficiency and making good quality content with least, as bad as it sounds, at least amount of effort as possible, then you're gonna do well.
Okay, cool. So to summarize then, batch your content, low effort, maximum quality. Yeah. And low effort is important. If you put in high effort every single time, especially if you have a 9 to 5, it's going to be hard. Crazy.
Yeah. And you know it, like how much effort you're putting in right now. Think about how much easier it would be if somehow, I don't know how, you would have your own studio, you turn on the lights, you turn on the cameras,
it's ready to go.
Done.
That would be heaven.
Exactly. And that's what kind of you need to work towards, in my personal opinion. If you start making money off this, monetizing and stuff, it's just like, no, don't start taking a salary so you can go to a better hotel on your holiday. Invest into an editor or studio or whatever to make your life easier.
Yeah.
You make your life easier. You produce more and better quality content easier. That will in turn bring you more money, and then you'll see the changes.
Sick, man. So I want to get into how to monetize your platform. So say I've got my first 10K followers on TikTok. Is that too early to monetize?
It depends on case by case basis. So for example, for me personally, I started making money from YouTube when I reached 220 subscribers.
220?
Yeah, 220 subscribers. And it's purely because of the niche that I'm in. And it was an Amazon FBA niche, which is a very, very small niche, but I came across knowledgeable. I was showing my results, and people, and the way I monetized, it wasn't through AdSense or anything like that. It was literally through selling my mentorship. Yeah. It was 1 month mentorship, £249, right? So, and at that time, a couple of people signed in, but you know what? That's 500 quid a month. Just like that, right? But in the very beginning, it really depends on what niche you're in. I think don't think about it too much in terms of which I'm going to go in insurance because that one pays the best. No, but if you're not passionate about it, if you're not going to put in the grind for years to come, don't go into it. So don't focus on going into the niche that pays the best. Focus on the one that you see yourself doing for the next 5 to 10 years. Right? So that's the first thing. The second thing is, it really depends on your reputation and the type of quality of content. So for example, 10,000 followers on TikTok on like a theme page won't get you anything. But if you have 10,000 followers on TikTok and you're speaking about a certain subject, property, side hustles, Amazon FBA, whatever, and you come across knowledgeable, and you have built a connection, then that's a different story.
Yeah.
I have so many people that have got hundreds of thousands of followers on TikTok, and they're like, I can't make any money at all. And then I'm like, well, yeah, because your content is all over the place and I don't even see your face, bro. I don't even know who I'm talking up to.
Yeah.
Right. So if that's the case, like, how on earth can you think somebody's going to buy in what you're trying to sell? And there are other people who are even making more money than I am with less followers because they really focus on that particular niche. They are the expert in that niche. Crazy. And if you're interested, you'll go to them.
Yeah. It's crazy. So just from our experience, we didn't want to sell courses. So our plan is potentially to use our platform to create events for people. So then obviously we're meeting people every single week.
Yep.
Bringing those people in a room and providing value for the audience. And that's going to be how we want to really monetize.
Yeah.
So you don't have to sell courses if you don't want to.
Yeah. No, absolutely. There's many ways. For example, for me personally, I'll tell you all the monetization for me personally. Okay. So affiliate marketing, Helium 10, Awesome, which you know, Tide. 3 different sources of income just from affiliate marketing. Then you have the Discord channel, which is £9.99 a month. Then you have courses. Then you have one course for Amazon FBA, one course for money mindset, which is basically teaching people what you should have been taught in school around money. Then I have the 6-month mentorship. Then I have account management. Then I have revenue from TikTok. Then I have revenue from brand deals. Have I missed out anything?
Amazon.
I think we'll leave. Obviously Amazon. Yeah. Amazon.
And what makes you the most out of all of those? What's like the ranking? Amazon by far?
Amazon still, yeah. So sales-wise and profit-wise, and I'm kind of happy that is the case, is the fact that, hey, if one of these social media things fall off or anything like that, I never really want social media to be my main source of income, because then I feel like I'm like obliged to continue posting, right?
Yeah.
Whereas here right now, because social media is like kind of my side hustle and it's a pretty good one. If that falls off, if the algorithm changes, I'm still okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also I think it comes a little bit more genuine as well, because my goal is, number one, to actually sell on Amazon and actually make that a success, as opposed to sell the information. You know, so now my main source of business is selling the information and courses and mentorships, as opposed to actually doing what I'm doing. So the fact that I'm still making far more money on Amazon is like, it's morally right as well. So yeah,
it's true. And then also I wanted to ask you, in terms of like the side hustles that you've seen, so you do a lot of reaction videos, and I've seen you trash 99% of them.
Nah, not 99. No. The thing is,
most of them,
because we are interested more in negativity than positivity. My negative ones do better.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it fair. If somebody is telling what I believe is true and I agree with, I will tag them in. I will say they're doing well, and I will say follow them as well. I've got no problem with that whatsoever. The whole point of my channel in the first place is to give my opinion on who's real and who's not. It's as simple as that. And I seek no problem in saying, hey, this guy is telling the truth. He's absolutely on point. I'll give an example, for example. So I always say SMMA is not a great side hustle, because they talk about, hey, how much profit you'll be making, the fact that you'll be living on a beach, the fact that it's a passive source of income, the fact that the profit margins are incredibly high.
What is SMMA?
For SMMA is basically social media marketing agency, which basically means you get an individual and you manage their social media, you try to grow on their behalf, and then you monetize, and they pay you a fee every single month, right? And there was one TikTok on SMMA saying, you know, all these amazing things, blah blah blah, whatever, and I trashed it. And there's another person that did a sales call for an SMMA client, and you can just see the guy like struggling, asking questions, speaking on leads and everything, and I was just like, bro, this is what SMMA is like. You can make money, but can you see yourself making 100 phone calls a day? That's what people don't tell you. Yes, it's profitable. Yes, you can work from everywhere in the world, but they don't give you the ugly side of SMMA, which a lot of people, and then in the comments, people were like, you know what, I run my own agency, and you are so right. There is so much more work than people tell you. And I'm like, job done then for me personally. I got people the real review of what SMMA is like. If you want to go for it, and there is money to be made, absolutely go for it, but it ain't going to be easy.
I did. I started a little agent. Well, not an agent. It was like the start of an agency, basically. And I thought, let me get someone from another country to do like websites. And then I provided people that I know. So I say, my uncle had like an insurance company. I'll sort out the website for you. So I got the guy to do it. The guy was terrible. I ended up having to do it myself.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was just working for my uncle.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is not what I want to do. It's like another job, basically.
Yeah. But do you see any TikToks about how to do it, or like how good it is, or about how bad it is, and how many issues there can be? No. They'll never tell you, because they have an underlining agenda of potentially selling you into a website or a subscription, whatever, or an SMA course and so on. It's just like, okay, cool. All I want for people is, after watching my content, is to have a realistic view of what they're getting themselves into.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's good, I'll tell you it's good. I will trash Amazon FBA, the shit that I do. Okay. I will trash it myself, because guess what? You do give up control to Amazon. You do have not as much control as you would if you had your own website and your own brand. I understand that. Right. Yeah. However, I will tell you the benefits as well. You know, the fees are extraordinarily high on Amazon FBA. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You know, put it this way. There's a reason why Amazon FBA is Amazon is $1 trillion company, because 30% of all sales will go to Amazon, whether you like it or not, one way or the other, right? And I'll say it, not a problem at all. But then when people come in and they join into mentorship, they are very well prepared to take on the struggles and the reality. There's oh, I didn't think it was, you know, I thought it was so much easier. No, like, I will tell you exactly how.
But then just on the flip side of that, I feel like sometimes if you get if you give everyone the realities of it, they might not start the journey. Like, if I knew how much work would be in building this podcast, I might not have started in the beginning. So sometimes when you give everyone the realities of it, it kind of stops them from starting. So maybe there's a balance.
Yes, but then in my opinion, when it comes to social media, reputation is more important than money. If you tell everyone Amazon FBA is easy, and then go for it, and then they realize it ain't easy, you're like, you lost the trust completely, right? So I can see where you're coming from, and I'll be honest. If I said Amazon FBA is the easiest thing in the world, you should join my mentorship right now. We'll be making money next week, next month. I'll probably will get more mentorship sales, but my reputation will start to deteriorate very, very quickly. So now it's just like the comments that I get, and I always read the comments. Sometimes I'll respond, sometimes not. It's just like, I trust you, I appreciate it. That is the reality, and so on. You always get hate as well, but it's nice to know that the reputation is there that I've worked so hard to build up.
That's really good, man. So I was going to get to out of the stuff you've seen, let's pick out some ones you think are good. So the best side hustles you've seen for this year for people starting out. I've got a couple ideas. It
really depends on your situation, man, because if you're, put it this way, okay, so let's say you're 50 years old and you have 100 grand in the bank. Okay, well then maybe going into property in about a year or so, because property prices were going to start coming down, is a good idea. If you're a 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old, then maybe, this is going to sound crazy, but it's actually, I've got a story behind this, reselling Legos.
Okay, well, all right.
I know. You know, maybe you're 19, 20, 21 years old and you don't have that much time. Maybe match betting is a good idea.
I saw that on your latest video. That's quite a good idea. Can you explain what that one is?
My brother is making 1.2 grand from it a month.
That's a pretty good idea.
And he's 19 years old. And it's basically, match betting is using the promotional offers of the betting site to bet on both sides of the outcome. So regardless if in the football game you win or you put your £10 on one outcome, the promotional offer will be £10 on the other outcome. You win either way.
So say I've got like a Mayweather fight, Mayweather versus Jake Paul. I bet Mayweather. I use a match betting discount for Jake Paul.
Exactly. And if Jake Paul wins, you win. And
is there always a margin in between?
That's where softwares come in, will calculate the margin and how much money you will be making nevertheless, right? Sometimes it can be just a couple of pounds. Sometimes it will be like my brother's biggest win, I think, was 500.
Is it?
£500 because he had free spins on a roulette and he hit jackpot. Boom.
That's a really interesting.
And it actually was supposed to be higher than that, but because it got capped at 500, you can make 500. And he just sent me a screenshot. And I was just like, bloody hell. The thing is, with match betting, it's a little bit harder because effectively it is gambling, and you are promoting the category of gambling. So I'm very, very cautious of speaking about it too much because it is a good side hustle. You can make money from it. But if you have the wrong personality, and it's not a business, but also if you have that sort of addictive personality where you can get lured in, you got to be careful.
And I guess you can lose at some point, isn't it? Like,
absolutely as well. But on average, I've speak about that on my Discord group quite a lot because it's a safe environment. I can say whatever I want. I do say, hey, just try out match betting. Most people that have tried out have made anything from 100 to a couple of hundred to £1,000 and so on. And it's not, like you said yourself, it's not a business, but it's a good side hustle to making a bit of extra income.
Yeah. I like that. That's really good.
And then the Lego side of things.
Yeah.
So the Lego, so basically it's very, very recent as well, but there are, you know how people resell sneakers, they resell consoles, they resell games.
Yeah.
Well, Legos is exactly the same.
There's a market for Lego.
You'd be surprised. There are websites for Legos, and basically there are people who are collecting Legos and the Legos that are discontinued. So, for example, a friend of mine bought up £5,000 worth of Mandalorian Legos.
Yeah, okay.
They got discontinued.
Yeah.
4 months later, he sold the whole batch for 20 grand.
How much? 20 grand.
From 5 to 20 in 4 months. Legos. I know. There are apparently figurines that were discontinued 20 years ago, that this big, that are 3 grand.
Oh my God.
I know.
Mad.
I know. And guess what? I did not know about this quite a while back, but it's just, that's my whole point, is opening eyes to people that, hey, when you think of investing, you think of 2 things: property, stocks and shares. That's it.
Yeah.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
There is so much more. If you do the research, if you do the digging, you'll be amazed at how many things you can resell for a profit.
I had a little idea that I think if you're starting from zero, this could be quite interesting. So there's a site called Free Cycle, and there's a few others like that where people give away stuff for free. Their old sofas that are in decent condition.
Yeah.
So you can pick up free stuff from this site, sell it on eBay.
Yeah.
Basically like flipping.
Yeah, it's retail arbitrage, absolutely.
Yeah.
It just requires time. It requires you put in your, if you don't, like, it's not done, it's done online, but it's not really done online because you have to go pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, if it's a sofa, get yourself a van and stuff like that, right?
But if you want your first grand,
100%.
it could work.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I'm personally a bigger fan of online because I'd rather work 8 hours a day online if I'm starting from scratch and resell from one side to another or whatever, doing online arbitrage, as opposed to driving around picking up sofas. Do you know what I mean? But like, there's a market for both, right? Because like what I just said, if somebody says, you know what, I got no problem driving around, they'll probably have better luck because most people may be like me and not like them, and therefore they have a better choice.
And yes, eventually you could hire people to do it for you and stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, that's the thing as well. So with some of these things, like if you start hiring people to drive around picking up free sofas, how much margin is there left for you? And what is the barrier for them not to do it themselves?
True.
Do you know what I mean?
True.
Right? Let's be honest, it doesn't require a lot of skill.
True, yeah.
Can you drive? Yeah, cool, go. That's it. Right? Yeah. So it's you kind of have to think about it. A lot of these side hustles can become full-time businesses, like Amazon FBA, like building your own brand, like SMMA and so on. And there are some side hustles that won't. Like, in my opinion, retail arbitrage, like Legos, you know, like match betting and stuff. But when you're starting out, I think money is a game. If you're starting at 0, you have a certain amount of choices. If you've got 1,000, you've got a certain amount of choices. 10,000, different choices. 100,000. And I think what happens is a lot of people will listen to some of these big influencers that will say, hey, you need to invest into an index fund. Okay, cool. Put your £500 in an index fund. Good luck. See what happens.
Yeah, I hate when they say that.
It's a good advice for somebody that has got a high net worth. Then it makes sense. But for most 90% of people watching that video, that is not the best advice.
But I've been to a lot of these kind of like events and business events and stuff, and it always start off at your first house. So they start off at the point you're not at. Yeah. Oh, so if what you do is get your first flat and then you can do this.
Yeah, whoa. Hold on, bro. How do we get to the first flat? Yeah, absolutely. What they should be saying is, that what is your situation right now? How much money have you got saved up right now? What have you done to save up that money? How much time do you got? And what kind of skills do you have? And then we can work about how to make the deposit first. And then once we make the deposit, how are you going to have the mortgage affordability sorted? And then we can talk about the first house. And even when you get the first house, how are you going to renovate it? How are you going to, like, there's so many things that people just tend to skip on, just say the big things. Hey, we'll go from 1 house to 5 houses, 10 houses. And it's just like, dude, chill out. Relax. Come back to square one. What do I do? You know? And you know, that advice sells. It gets people hyped up. Hey, I'll be having 5 houses next year. They buy into a course and then they realize, like, oh, dude, I can't even get a mortgage.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So the last idea that I had was so restaurants have terrible social media. Like if you look at their content, it's very corporate and stiff.
Horrible.
They need so much help. So what you could do is you could set up like an agency, which I
Yeah,
know we
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
like,
yeah.
and help them. But you could also do like a social media influencer pool.
Mhm.
Don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you get a group of like foodie bloggers together,
Mhm.
package it, and sell it as a content package to restaurants
Yeah.
in the area that
Yeah.
they might need help.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think not just restaurants. I mean, restaurants are actually not that bad. Any company in, for example, in
On the high
construction,
street. Yeah.
in construction, they're terrible. They're
Yeah.
absolutely horrible. And if you can say to them, hey, we can increase your revenues by 20, 30, 40%, whatever, will you give us a share? Most of them will say yes.
Yeah.
Okay, well then cool. The only problem is with that, it all sounds great in theory, in paper.
Doing it is
right?
different.
But doing it, reaching out to 100 restaurants, reaching out to 50 construction companies, or whoever social media game is terrible, it takes time. And then it takes time, it takes effort, and you have to make those uncomfortable phone calls, you know, and trying to sell your services and how you're going to come across. But that's something that in theory sounds great, but in practice is much more to it.
Yeah, true. But it's like an idea anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool. That's sick. So getting back to TikTok,
Mhm.
how much have you made so far? Let's
Yeah.
get to the numbers.
So I don't know what's the split from TikTok or YouTube or whatever,
Yeah.
but put it this way. Last year, social media, 110 grand. From everything related to social media and the revenue, the revenue, not profit,
Yeah.
revenue that social media brings. Now, of course, I had to pay for a camera, I had to pay for a microphone, I have to pay my editor, bonuses, all these sort of things, right? So it's not profit. Let's keep that clear.
Yeah.
This year so far, as of right now, May, we have made, I think it's 62
That's crazy.
in 4 months and 6 days.
Wow. And most of that is through selling the services.
Mentorships, account management. Yeah. So majority, and I'm also glad to say this, is that majority of my revenue from the social media side of things comes from mentorships, account management, Discord groups, and courses. It does not come from affiliate marketing. It does not come from brands. And I'm very happy about that because my boss is my student and my customer.
Yeah.
It is not a brand who is a nightmare sometimes to deal with, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah. And
people want the brand deals usually.
yeah, and it sounds great and it can be very lucrative and profitable, but there's more to it than people know, is all I can say.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Enough said.
there's clauses, there's delays, there's many things, and it's just like, you know what? This is a reason why Mayweather doesn't do brand deals. He owns his own stuff.
Yeah.
He promotes his own thing. He is his own boss, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. Whilst others, it's much easier to make a brand deal, get paid, not worry about it. Here, you're building your own reputation. Everything is in your hands.
100%. I could definitely agree with that. So looking forward, I want to know what the plan is for you. So I'm sure by the end of the year, you'll hit 1 million.
Fingers crossed.
I'm pretty
Touch wood.
confident.
Who knows?
What happens then? What's the plan for like the platform and?
Yeah. To be honest, right now I'm a little bit in two minds whether or not to continue doing with Amazon FBA or should I move more into side hustles. I'm really passionate about teaching people the lessons you should have been taught in school.
Yeah.
I think there are so many things I wish that I would have been taught back when I was 16, 17, 18 that would have changed the trajectory and probably saved me a few years of doing a 9-to-5 that I fucking hated.
Wow.
And I'm really like, if I could see my videos that I'm about to post now back in the day, it would have helped me so much.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I want to take the channel. I'm never going to go away from Amazon FBA. It's what makes me the most amount of money. It's what made me 7 figures effectively. It's what helped a lot of my students as well. So I will always stick to that as well. And that's most likely what I'll be known for. But I just want to give out lessons that the next generation can be like, you know what? Maybe learning Irish history doesn't do any good for me in school. You know what I mean? Like maybe this chemistry stuff that I'll probably forget after the exam ain't gonna help me out in life.
God.
You know, maybe writing a CV will help me out a little bit more. Maybe learning how to negotiate a business deal will help me out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know, knowing how to raise finance will help me out a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like those sort of things. We never been taught in
None
school
of
like
that.
this.
None of that.
Even I've studied business and I've studied economics in university. I never learned this stuff.
I did an entrepreneur class in uni. Still didn't teach me how to sell a
because
business.
they don't know themselves, and if they did, they would be business owners themselves, and it's frustrating, it's annoying, and it's just like, right, okay, if we can turn to social media and help people out, and clearly it's working because I wouldn't be getting the views that I am getting, right? If there wasn't anyone interested, so I think I'll continue doing that. Basically.
Sick. I like that. And I know that you're quite a heavy investor.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you investing your money? And have you got any picks for the audience?
Oh God, no, because you know what? I don't want to give picks because if somebody watches this video in May or March or June or July or August, things can change. But I think personally, when it comes to investing, you need to invest in what you know. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, don't invest in NFTs or crypto," and I'm one of those people. However, if you have studied NFTs for the last year, if you know the team, if you know the underlying project, you know it's not a scam, and you can see a great return, great, amazing. My only annoyance is the fact that people will invest into things that are moving up and they have got no idea why. If I asked, "Hey, you invested in Tesla. Why? Why did you invest in Tesla? Tell me. Give me 10 reasons as to why you invested in Tesla." You ask me that, I will tell you. But a lot of people won't. And they just invest because they have to be invested and everyone's going into Tesla. So therefore, I will. Bitcoin, okay, I will as well. It's like, okay, can you explain Bitcoin to me? And most of them will struggle, funnily enough.
And also, by the time everyone's talking about it, it's probably too late.
Yeah. That's also true. Absolutely as well. And I think people... sometimes they don't, and again, something that I want to teach is the risk to reward ratio, right? Where are you in your life and how much risk can you take on? If you're going to go into NFTs and crypto, regardless of how much you know, you will be going at the higher end of the risk spectrum, as opposed to investing in a property where the house appreciation and the rent is covering your mortgage, right? So it's like, okay, how risky do you want to be? What do you know? That's what matters, right? So by saying, hey, you guys need to do this or you need to do that, it's really a case-by-case basis.
So for your journey, if you went back or if you started again now and you're making, I don't know, 2K a month average salary, what would you invest in first? What would you start with?
Well, if I could go back and see that crypto is going to go to 60K, I'd probably have researched a lot and moved into that, to be honest.
Or today even.
Or today, depending. But I believe I don't know enough to predict where cryptocurrencies are going to be and which ones are going to do the best. If I could go back in time, literally, I would do every single side hustle out there. I would try out every single one that doesn't require a massive amount of investment. And that would either two things. Number one, I would make money. Number two, I would learn something about myself. Right now, even you doing this podcast right now, let's say you cut it out tomorrow, you don't want to do podcasting ever again, right? You still learned a lot of valuable lessons. How to do social media, how 100%. To speak in front of the camera, and so on and so forth. And those lessons you can take on to something else. And then those, for example, for me personally, I could never do podcasting. The reason why is because that means I have to speak with other people and we have different personalities and so on and so forth. Right, and from my previous side hustles, I know that I don't deal well with different personalities, agendas, egos, and so on. You're different to me, clearly. And it's working for you. Amazing. But I'm not. But I needed to go through those experiences to understand what I'm good and what I'm not good at.
That makes sense.
Definitely. I can't do, funnily enough, I can't do anything super creative. I can do stuff numerical. I can analyze. I can do reports. Not a problem at all. But if you ask me to do a thumbnail, good luck, bro. Good luck. You'll have literally my face with make money and that's it. It's just so dead, right? So I will leverage my finances to get somebody that's way better than me.
And I think as well, another point that I kind of got from what you said is that walking down the path, you might find opportunities.
Oh, absolutely. Especially where you don't leave your 9 to 5. When you have so much more time and you're fully invested in doing this, as opposed to, I've got a 9 to 5, I then got friends, and your mind is everywhere. There is so much opportunity out there and your mind changes completely. Literally, I left my job got fired from my job in March. I started my YouTube channel in May. I would have never done that if I still had a full-time job. Ever. So for a lot of people out there, if you do have the means to potentially just take a break, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, you'll be amazed at what you'll be able to accomplish if you put the work in. And then you'll be like, I will do whatever I can never to get back to where I was. So
that's true. I think that's really good. So where can people find you then on the...
Everywhere, just put in Ben Alistor into YouTube, TikTok, Google. You'll see my name pop up there. But
You're famous now.
No, I really don't want to. I want to be known, but like in other countries. So in the UK here, I'm still cool. But no, I'm not famous at all. But anyone that's interested basically is making a little bit of money on the side, depending on the circumstances. We can provide advice, we can provide help, whether it's through a Discord where we all share ideas, know, like the Lego idea literally just came out, and I'm like, Jesus, this is amazing. You know, to the mentorships. I
like the match betting idea. That's
exactly. But it's like I said, if I start making match betting videos on TikTok, they're going to be taken down.
Yeah, true.
You know, so I can't. So Discord is there for people, mentorships, consultation calls as well, to help out people with their situation and circumstances.
Yeah, and we've got some plans, haven't we, to do some partnerships to bring that to the audience.
Absolutely. So as they say, watch this space. No, but it's going to be an exciting 2023. I think we're going to have a lot of things going our way. I think as long as we maintain discipline, the taking action, because what I learned along the way, a lot of people will say a big game, but then you don't hear from them. You know, they say, oh, I'm going to do this, X, Y, and Z. And then you reach out to them 4 or 5 months later. Oh, I didn't get around to do it. Oh, I didn't do it. Didn't X, Y, and Z. So as long as we continue to progress, take action, educate ourselves, it's going to be a bright future.
100%. Appreciate you coming down, man. So that's a great episode. I think we've got some really good gems there, some really good side hustles for you guys to take away. Yeah, make sure you follow the Venture Room, Venture_Room on Instagram, and the Venture Room TikTok and YouTube. And we'll see you on the next episode.